Hi, I'm Maurice Jones, President of Graceland Ministries. Today, we're going to look at a video as we look at Doug Wilson critiquing Rogan and Dawkins, Richard Dawkins. So we're going to let Doug Wilson try to do his thing, and then we're going to do the Graceland thing and let you know what really should be said and what really should be done, because we're not going to look at this problem from a post-millennial standpoint, but we're going to look at it from the Bible. Without further ado, the video.
So we are continuing our reaction videos. This time we're talking, reacting to Joe Rogan interacting with Richard Dawkins.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about your book was when you explained to people that everyone who practices a religion is an atheist. You're just an atheist in regards to Zeus or Apollo.
All the 999 other gods.
Yes,
right,
and
yes.
that's a home run with this argument.
Yes.
Because
some of us just go one god further.
Yes,
yeah.
But that really is a home run, because this is this concept of, me and my friends jokingly would always say praise Odin when anything would happen that was pretty good or cool.
Yes.
We say praise Odin, and I started doing it online, and people really got into saying praise Odin about certain things.
I rather like that, yes.
Some people got mad at me.
So I want you to notice carefully the structure of their argument. They're saying that there is no philosophical or theological or metaphysical difference between the man who believes in 5 gods and the man who believes in 4 gods, and the man who believes in 1 god and the man who believes in no gods. They're saying there's the distance between 5 and 4 is the same as the distance between 1 and 0. But that doesn't follow at all. Are they saying, let's say we had a polytheist who believed in 5 gods, and you have another polytheist who believes in 4 gods. We can turn this argument around to them. You're saying that the only difference between me and Richard Dawkins is I just believe in 1 more God than he does. That's all. Why are you getting all churned up about 4 gods? It's just one God less. And then you get down to 1, and it's just atheism is just 1 God less, as though that changes nothing. Well, if it doesn't change anything, then it doesn't change anything to go from no gods up to 1 God, right? It's just a numeral. It's just 1 number, but it changes everything. It changes everything so much that Richard Dawkins wrote a book about it, the God delusion. Why does he care how many gods we believe in if it's just 5 to 4 or 1 to 0?
They actually got mad that you're mocking Christianity by saying praise
Odin. Of course you are. Why not?
I wasn't even really. I was just having fun.
Yes.
I was having fun because Odin seemed like a cool god. It's an old school god. It's the god of the Vikings.
Douglas Adams wrote a lovely book called The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, in which the Norse gods are part of it. And Odin in that book has got old and senile, and he just lies in bed all the time and asking for clean sheets every day. And Thor is out there doing mischief with his great hammer and things. At one point, Odin gets Thor super glued to the floor and thinks it's a wonderful story.
The vast number.
And we Christian apologists must lay down our arms. I have no response.
The vast number of different religions. The incredible number. How many actual religions are there?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yes, I forget how many thousand.
How many scientific theories are there? Thousands. Who's to say? How many bottles of pills are there? How many bottles of cures are there in the world? Since there are so many, there clearly can't be any that do you any good. It follows.
And many of them share similar belief systems. And it's really interesting when you see how they're the Noah's Ark story is very similar to the Epic of Gilgamesh. And there's so many that you see they probably told this to someone else, and these people moved and
of course, yes,
traveled on. And
yeah. And the Chinese have a Noah, the Greeks had a Noah, the Babylonians had a Noah, the Hebrew believers had a Noah. The North American Indians had a Noah. Gee, I wonder if there might have been a flood.
It's just amazing that concept is alien to people. When I was a boy, I was raised Catholic, and I had an aunt who was Jewish, and my uncle married my aunt, and he had to convert to Judaism, and it was like a big deal in the family. Everybody would talk about it, and there was no anger. Everybody loved my aunt; she's a great lady. But it was just strange that he was converting to this other religion. I remember I was 5 years old when this was going on, and I was like, wait. What do you mean another religion?
Yes, quite.
I was like, what's going on?
Yes.
And they were like, oh, she's Jewish. I go, what? What does that mean? What do you mean she's Jewish?
Yes.
And they had to explain it to me.
Yes.
And I go, okay,
Because he was 5.
but she believes in God. Like, yeah, that they believe in God. Okay, so why is it a different thing? Well, they believe Jesus was a different kind of a thing. It was they don't necessarily believe he was the guy that we think he was.
But if it had been Hindu, they'd have had to explain to you they believe in hundreds of gods.
Vishnu and
Yes.
yeah, and then we'd have
Well, actually, they believe in hundreds of gods and perhaps even millions of them, but they're pantheistic. There are only about 6 different basic options available to you. Pantheism is one of them.
to go way back. Yeah, it's just when you first hear that. I mean, that was probably put the first seeds of doubt in my head when I was a young boy. When I was like, wait, well, there's more than one. Like I'll never forget that moment because we were all sitting around the dinner table and I was just a little kid and I remember thinking, what do you mean? There's another one?
I think that's a very powerful way of getting to children is to just simply tell them that.
Yes.
Telling them nothing but facts. You're not indoctrinating them.
Right.
You're just telling them. There are lots of different religions, and Hindus believe in hundreds of gods, and Jews believe in one God, and Muslims believe in one God, and they don't believe in Jesus, and just...
All you have to do is tell a 5-year-old that there are many different scientific theories. And who's to say? And the man who believes in a flat earth and the man who believes in a round earth, they're just 2 different geometric shapes. All you have to do is bend the flat earth and you have a round one.
Lay out all the different religions. That would be a very good educational exercise.
Has there ever been a civilization that existed without a belief in a higher power?
I don't think there has, no. Of course, there are plenty of individuals who educate that to not believe in a higher power, but I think...
Which is the god of North Korea? Which is the god of the Soviet Union? Which was the god of Mao's China? Which was the... Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, this is an impromptu video. This is the first time that my staff and I would looked at the video, no notes on it. We just sat down and we were like, we're gonna listen to it. All right, so no notes, no whatever. Okay. Now, what Wilson tried to do, we try to do things from the Bible perspective. We don't try to fight philosophy with philosophy, theology with theology. Okay, now, before I start, I want to point out something to you. That the average person, and here's the thing, when you listen to atheists talk, untrained atheists like Rogan, okay, and you listen to like supposedly educated atheists like Dawkins, it's amazing how Dawkins allows Rogan to be, ignorant, okay? But when you see a trained theologian like, let's say William Lane Craig, for example, talking to Shapiro, talking to another atheist, you can see that Craig knows that this uneducated guy, doesn't know what he knows, and Craig is going to try to guide him and lead him and whatever. But Dawkins here is going to allow this guy to say all these, unlearned things, and he's not going to stop him. But Dawkins knows that he would never use those arguments against another trained theologian or philosopher. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to point out to you, is that it's amazing how Dawkins is being dishonest by allowing this guy, he doesn't even try to correct this guy. If a Christian was talking to Rogan, he would stop and try to explain things to him, okay? And like I'm gonna do to you right now. For example, the average person doesn't know there's a difference between a world religion, okay, and denomination. For example, Islam and Christianity and Judaism, they are called world religions, Okay? And under Christianity or world religion, you got, different parts. You got Catholicism, okay? And then you have, Protestantism, okay? And then you got different denominations that come under Protestantism. And then you got cults. You got Jehovah's Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists, which comes from these denominations, which comes from, these, Protestants and Catholics, which comes from Christianity. So you don't call them all religions. They're not all religions, all right? And then you got worldviews out there. You got cosmic humanism, okay? You got Islam, you got postmodernism, you got secular humanism, you got Marxism, you got Christianity, okay? You got all these worldviews. So you got worldviews, and Christianity is a worldview, and Christianity is also a religion, okay? But Catholicism is not a religion, okay? Catholicism is not something different from Christianity. The word Catholicism, it means the idea of universal. It was just that people, after the disciples passed away, people would not teach the EM or the exegetical methodology of Jesus. You had the Greeks coming along to the Christians, asking the Christians to explain Christianity in terms that they can understand. And now you get Irenaeus the rule, and now you get a whole bunch of tradition that goes all the way down until Luther comes along, and then you're going to get, the Protestant Reformation. Okay? But there's a disconnect between what Jesus left the apostles, called the faith, and the church of the second century and traditions and things they picked up. Okay? But Catholicism is not a religion. Okay? Christianity is a religion. All right? Being a Baptist is not a religion. Okay? So you don't take a Jewish person and a Baptist and say, they're just different religions. No, the Baptist guy comes under Christianity. Okay? And now you explain the difference between Christianity and Judaism. You don't try to compare Judaism with an Episcopalian belief. That's just dumb. And they want to throw everything together and say, oh, they're all religions. There's not. I mean, you got, Baha'i, you got all kinds of cults out there under Islam. Islam got their cults too. Okay, they got their divisions too. Okay, but everything goes back up to world religions, and everything from world religions, you move everything up to world views. And so that's how you got to do it. You got to divide it up. You just can't throw everything together, okay, and explain to a 5-year-old. If that person is Jewish, okay, and that person is Catholic, all you got to do is say, hey, you got a Bible right here, you got 66 books, okay, and Jewish people believe, the first 39. They don't accept the other 27 New Testament books. That's all you got to say to them. Okay, and then you get some other books, the Apocrypha, and you get the Pseudepigrapha that, Christians don't accept. So you don't just act like, Christianity and Judaism has, nothing in common when you want to say so. Okay, and then you want them to say, oh, they're all saying the same thing when you want them to say so. You just can't do that. You can't throw the dialectic in there. You can't go around saying these things are distinct, but yet they are the same, and blah, 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 blah. You got to put things in their proper categories. Okay, another rule is this. Similarities and parallels do not mean the same thing. First rule of apologetics. Just because something is similar to something doesn't mean it's the same thing. Some of these religions got similarities. Okay? All right? So it doesn't mean they are the same. So those are some things that Richard Dawkins should have told Rogan. He should explain those things to Rogan. Don't let Rogan go around thinking that, hey, all religions are the same, and thinking that Branch Davidians are a religion. The Branch Davidians just come from the Seventh-day Adventists. The Seventh-day Adventists just come from Christianity. You got a little sect down there. You got a cult. And then you got a religion, and you got to put everything in its proper place. But he doesn't do that. He lets the guy go on being ignorant. Okay, and when Christians debate atheists, we don't do that. If you're an atheist watching this video, when an educated Christian debates an atheist, we try to educate him. Because all the atheist does is just say whatever he wants to say, because the atheist think that anything that said was true. And if he doesn't like something, he goes, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like that. I like this, therefore it's true. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Now, the next thing is this. I want to show you something. Because the video he's actually saying the opposite of what the Bible says. That's what Doug Wilson should have stated. Because according to Romans 1:18 through 25, and even Schubert Ogden, who's a process theologian, says this: all men have original revelation. So Ogden's thesis as a process theologian is this: nobody is an atheist. Okay? Because according to Romans 1, we know, we got the truth. We suppress the truth that the one true God exists. Now here's the problem. Here's what Wilson should have also stated, okay? What he's doing is this. He's confusing Islam with all religions, okay? Because when you study Islam, watch this. Before Islam came along in the 7th century AD, the Islamic people, pre-Islamic people, used to worship many gods. Okay? Allah comes along, gets rid of the 359 other gods and says, hey, Muhammad comes along and says, hey, I'm going to take one of these gods and I'm going to call him Allah, and now we're going to worship Allah. Okay? So now, if you look at it from a Muslim standpoint, Dawkins has a point. Because you got the Muslims or the pre-Islamic people that were worshiping 360 idols, which the Bible is against. So the Bible's not going around saying, hi, hear you, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Okay, and so now you're an atheist. No, the Bible says, hear you, O Israel, the Lord your God is one, and all the other gods are false. They can't tell you the beginning from the end. They can't tell you prophecy. And by the way, Richard Dawkins and Rogan, how do you see the course of human history moving from the Battle of Carchemish all the way to the crucifixion of Jesus, all the way to today? Because somebody controls human history. And if you don't believe me, you need to read that discussion between Octavian and Herod. Because Herod told Octavian, the only reason I'm here is because of God. And Octavian is the one that changed his name to Caesar Augustus, and that's when Jesus was born. Somebody controlled that, because if Mark Antony and Cleopatra would have won, there would not have been a Herod, because they would not have accepted Herod. So the Bible's against this whole idea of false gods right there. Isaiah 43:10, there are no other gods. There are no God, I created no gods before me, and I created no gods after me. That's all you had to say, Wilson. Don't try to do logic with logic. Don't even give these guys the time of day. But here's my other point. My second point is this. He's saying the opposite. In reality, atheism is nothing more than a Christian perspective. Atheism, Dawkins only pushes a Christian perspective. Watch this. The reason Darwinian evolution was so cool is because of St. Augustine. St. Augustine taught that creation was very quick. So all Darwin did was came along and said, hey, no, here's a slow process. And everybody bought it. Why? Because everybody was going around saying, hey, the quick creation by God, okay? So then Darwin comes along, and it's a long process. Everybody's like, you know what? Guess what? I got a choice now. I got a choice. I got a real choice, and I got an atheistic origin for life now, okay? But it's nothing but a perspective on a scale along with the other theistic religions. That's why Will Lane Craig kicks your butt. That's why Dawkins won't debate Craig. Why? Because if you're an atheist and you sit here and you try to debate someone who believes in middle knowledge, he's gonna crush you. Craig crushes atheists all the time. Why? Because his Christian perspective is the perfect perspective to destroy atheism. In atheism, watch this. If you talk to an atheist, they have no problem with the God of Thomism. They have no problem with the Thomistic God. They just don't like that Calvinist God. They don't like that God. And watch this, by the way, Dawkins and Rogan and Wilson. They believe in the B theory of time, and these two Christian worldviews believe in the B theory of time. They believe in implicit B. They believe in A. They believe in A, and they believe in A or B. They don't have any idea what's together. Those process theologians are fickle like that. Okay? But atheism is on a scale of theism. That's why Craig wins. And watch this. Watch this. And process theology, you ready for this? Process theology is just a middle ground between theism and atheism. Process theology, and look, check this out. Everybody became a process theologian on 9/11 because everyone was running around. All these world perspectives right here were running around saying things could have been worse. But thankful God didn't send all these people into work, but things could have been worse. And even the fireman was like, man, that building should not have collapsed. That building should not have fallen. You couldn't be a Calvinist on 9/11. And if you're an atheist, you run around going, why did God let all these bad things happen? Well, the process theologians were going around saying, look at all the good that happened. Everybody's not an atheist. Atheists are nothing but theists, and they're stuck on that perspective. And their perspective gets crushed every time they walk up to a middle knowledge guy. Every time. So guess what the atheist does? The atheist brings out the problem of evil. And guess what Craig does? Craig moves from his perspective to the Thomist perspective. That's how it works, bro. But this whole idea about a whole bunch of gods and only one, that's Islam. That's not reality. That's Islam. If there was no Christianity and there was no Judaism and the only religion we had was Islam, he would have a point. Because that's what Muhammad did. Muhammad took a bunch of gods who did not exist and chose one out of those gods that did not exist and said, hey. And we normally don't talk about Islam. We don't even bother with Islam in our ministry. We don't even mess with Muslims. Okay, we don't even talk about it. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because I got to be truthful. And the truth is, his system works if Islam is true. And if you ask any Muslim, because what are Muslims going to say? Was there a Muslim at 2 BC? Muhammad wasn't even born. What was a Muslim doing in 200 BC? Or 400 BC? Or 600 BC? Was he worshiping Allah? They would have you to believe that he was worshiping the God of Abraham. He's worshiping Jehovah. Now why would he worship the God of Jehovah? Or the God of Abraham? Why would a Muslim be worshiping the God of Abraham who's telling Abraham, I'm going to give you a descendant. I'm going to send my son. I'm going to give you a son, and I'm going to start a lineage, and a Messiah, a son of God is going to come from you. So why would a Muslim be worshiping a God that says to Abraham that I'm going to give you a Messiah that comes from you when a Muslim believes that God doesn't have a son? Why? Because they were running around in a pre-Islamic religion doing mythos. So if you look at the video, the first thing I want you to understand is this. Yeah, if you start out with number one false god, okay, and you get to God number 360, and you decide to take God number 359 and call him the one true God, then yeah, Dawkins has a point. And this whole idea about these other cultures out there, these are just mythos. It's always been the difference between logos and mythos. Mythos was in existence all the way back to Genesis 3. So talking about the Vikings or the Celtic people, they were just a bunch of pagan mythos people who knew about Christianity. Why? Because they were worshiping gods. And the Bible told them not to do that. Christians were going around telling these people not to do that. There's one true God in existence. So you wrote a book joking Christianity, but I bet you will not debate Will Lane Craig. I bet you won't do it. Craig's a professional debater, and I don't debate professional. No. You don't debate people on that perspective of middle knowledge. Middle knowledge will eat you alive. And Doug Wilson can't do it because he's a post-mill guy. So yeah, hey, I really like this. Joe Rogan thinks it's cool. Yeah, wait till Joe Rogan sees your nose bloodied by Will Lane Craig in a debate. Craig just goes through you guys like butter. And Craig's not even well, I shouldn't say he's not even that great. Never mind. Anyway, the bottom line is this. Because of his perspective, Craig will crush this perspective. And that's why process theology, man, they're a thorn in the Thomist flesh. Alfred North Whitehead, man, his son died, passed away, came up with a theology, went against God. Came up with a theology to win against Thomism. Yeah, but process theology can't handle Calvinism. And look at this. Let me show you something right quick. I shouldn't show you this, but I am. Calvinism and open theism, they're subcontraries. So watch this. Let me show you this. I wonder who's the subcontrary to atheism is.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more from Graceland Ministries, please subscribe, share, and support us financially online using the links in the description.